Uncleftish Beholding by Poul. For most of its being, mankind did not know what things are made of, but could only guess. With the growth of world-ken, we began to learn, and today we have a beholding of stuff and work that watching bears out, both in the workstead and in daily life. The underlying kinds of stuff are the first stuffs, which link together in sundry ways to give rise to the rest. Formerly we knew of 92 first stuffs, from water stuff, the lightest and barest, to emir stuff, the heaviest. Now we have made more, such as aegir stuff and hell stuff. The first stuffs have their beings as motes called unclefts. These are mightily small. One seed weight of water stuff holds a tail of them like unto 2 followed by 22 noughts. Most unclefts link together to make what are called bulk bits. Thus the water stuff bulk bits bestands of 2 water stuff unclefts, the sour stuff bulk bit of 2 sour stuffs uncleft, and so on. Some kinds, such as sun stuff, keep alone. Others, such as iron, cling together in ices when in the fast standing, and there are yet more yoke ways. When unlike clefts link in a bulk bit, they make bindings. Thus water is a binding of 2 water stuff unclefts with 1 sour stuff uncleft, while a bulk bit of one of the 4 stuffs making up flesh may have 1,000 or more unclefts of these 2 first stuffs together with coal stuff and choke stuff. At first it was thought that the uncleft was a hard thing that could be split no further, hence the name. Now we know it is made up of lesser motes. There is a heavy kernel with a forward burnstone-ish lading, and around it 1 or more light motes with backward ladings. The least uncleft is that of ordinary water stuff. Its kernel is a lone forward-laden mote called the first bit. Outside it is a backward-laden mote called a burnstone bit. The first bit has a heaviness about 1,840-fold that of the burnstone bit. Early world-ken folk thought burnstone bits swing around the kernel like the earth around the sun, but now we understand they are more like waves or clouds. In all other unclefts are found other motes as well, about as heavy as the first bit but with no lading, known as neither bits. We know a kind of water stuff with 1 neither bit in the kernel along with the first bit. Another kind has 2 neither bits. Both kinds are seldom. The next greatest first stuff is sun stuff, which has 2 first bits and 2 burnstone bits. The everyday sort also has 2 neither bits in the kernel. If there are more or less, the uncleft will soon break asunder. More about this later. The third first stuff is stone stuff, with 3 first bits, 3 burnstone bits, and its own share of neither bits. And so it goes on through such everyday stuffs as coal stuff, 6 first bits, or iron, 26, to ones more lately found. Emir stuff, 92, was the last until men began to make some higher still. It is the burnstone bits that link, and so their tail fast sets how a first stuff behaves and what kind of bulk bits it can help make. The world-ken for this behaving, in all its manifold ways, is called mingling-ken. Minglingers have found that as the uncleftish tail of the first stuffs, that is, the tail of first stuffs in their kernels, waxes, after a while they begin to show ownships not unlike those of others that went before them. So, for a show deal, stone stuff, 3, glasswort stuff, 11, potash stuff, 19, red stuff, 37, and blue-gray stuff, 55, can each link with only 1 uncleft of water stuff, while coal stuff, 6, flint stuff, 14, German stuff, 22, tin, 50, and lead, 82, can each link with 4. This is readily seen when all are set forth in what is called the round-around board of the first stuffs. When an uncleft or bulk bit wins one or more burnstone bits above its own, it takes on a backward lading. When it loses one or more, it takes on a forward lading. Such a mode is called a fairer, for that the drag between unlike ladings flits it. When burnstone bits flit by themselves, it may be as a bolt of lightning, a spark off some fast-standing chunk, or the everyday flow of burnstone nest through wires. Coming back to the uncleft itself, the heavier it is, the more niter bits as well as first bits in its kernel. Indeed, soon the tail of niter bits is the greater. Unclefts with the same tail of first bits but unlike tails of niter bits are called samesteads. Thus, everyday sour stuff has 8 niter bits with its 8 first bits, but there are also kinds with 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11 niter bits. A samestead is known by the tail of both kernel modes, so that we have sour stuff 13, sour stuff 14, and so on, with sour stuff 16 being by far the most found. Having the same number of burnstone bits, the samesteads of a first stuff behave almost alike minglingly. They do show some unlikenesses, outstandingly among the heavier ones, and these can be worked to sunder samesteads from each other. Most samesteads of every first stuffs are unabiding. Their kernels break up, each at its own speed. This speed is written as the half-life, which is how long it takes half of any deal of the samestead thus to shift itself. The doing is known as light rotting. It may happen fast or slowly, and in any of sundry ways, off-hanging on the makeup of the kernel. A kernel may spit out 2 first bits with 2 niter bits, that is, a sunstuff kernel, thus leaping 2 steads back in the round-around board, and 4 weights back in heaviness. It may give off a burnstone bit from a niter bit, which thereby becomes a first bit, and thrusts the uncleft 1 stead up in the board, while keeping the same weight. It may give off a forward bit, which is a mote with the same weight as a burnstone bit, but a forward lading, and thereby spring 1 stead down in the board while keeping the same weight. Often, too, a mote is given off with neither lading nor heaviness, called the wee niter bit. In much light rotting, a mote of light with most short wavelength comes out as well. For although light oftenest behaves as a wave, it can be looked on as a mote, the light bit. We have already said, by the way, that a mote of stuff can behave not only as a chunk, but as a wave. Down among the unclefts, things do not happen in steady flowings, but in leaps between bestandings that are forbidden. The knowledge hunt of this is called lump beholding. Nor are stuff and work unakin. Rather, they are ground-wise the same, and one can be shifted into the other. The kinship between them is that work is like unto weight manifolded by the foresight of the haste of light. By shooting motes into kernels, world-ken folk have shifted samesteads of one first stuff into samesteads of another. Thus did they make Ymir stuff into Aegir stuff and Hel stuff, and they have afterward gone beyond these. The heavier first stuffs are all highly light-rodish, and therefore are not found in the green world. Some of the higher samesteads are splitly, that is, when a niter bit strikes the kernel of one, as for show deal Ymir stuff 235, it bursts into lesser kernels and free niter bits. The latter can then split more Ymir stuff 235. When this happens, weight shifts into work. It is not much of the whole, but nevertheless it is awesome. With enough strength, lightweight unclefts can be made to together melt. In the sun, through a row of strikings and light rottings, 4 unclefts of water stuff in this wise become one of sun stuff. Again, some weight is lost as work, and again this is greatly big when set beside the work gotten from a mingling-ish doing, such as fire. Today we wield both kind of uncleftish doings in weapons, and kernelish splitting gives us heat and burnstone-ness. We hope to do likewise with together melting, which would yield an unhemmed wellspring of work for mankindish good gain. Soothly we live in mighty years. That was Uncleftish Beholding by Poul Anderson.